What is going on, guys? It is Chris, and today I'm going to be doing a quick look at my new tires for my Giant Revolt. This is the Teravail Rutland in a massive 700 by 47 millimeter tire. Now, I did get the durable versions with tan walls, and the weights for these tires are going to be as shown here. Now, I got these tires because I wanted something that was a little bit more volume than say a standard 45 millimeter tire, and my Giant Revolt says it has clearance for up to a 45 millimeter tire, but from my experience, I've been able to run a slightly wider tire, closer to like a 47, with some still good clearances, but a lot of the tires that I've had access to that were larger than 45 were just slightly too big for my liking. So when I saw that Teravail had a 47 millimeter tire with this sort of tread, I was really interested in it. So as you can see, this tread is sort of a small block style tread design, and it's actually has a little bit more rise to it. But it's not super aggressive like an XC tire, but it's still pretty significant. So this should give me some better grip off-road, but still roll pretty nicely on the road. Now, when I mentioned XC tires, the tire that I've actually been running on my Revolt is this Specialized Ground Control, which is a 29 by 1.9 tire, and this is actually about a 48 millimeter tire, 48 and a half on the stock Giant rims, which are 19 millimeters internal. And as you can see, the tread is just slightly more aggressive. It's not like a full trail tire tread, but it's still like there's a pretty good height to the knobs, which compared to this, it's a lot lower on the Rutlands. And if we were to compare the size of the Rutlands compared to the ground controls, you can see that they're pretty close, but the ground control is just slightly more pronounced and it has slightly more casing to it. So this is the tire that I've been running the ground control, and I've had okay clearances in the back of the tire, but it was a little bit closer than I would like, and it's mainly due to the size of the side knobs and the casing itself. So my hope is that the Rutland still fill out the it still fills out the tire and the rim and everything, but it isn't too close to my chainstays like my ground controls were. So now another thing that I wanted to look at is my Maxxis Rambler that I've been actually running originally when I got my Giant Revolt, and as you can see, this is a little bit closer in size to the Rutland, even though the Rambler is a 45. But also, as you can see, the tread on the Rambler is a little bit more compact, and it's not as pronounced and spaced out like the Rutlands are. So this is what I'm really hoping to improve on, is just making this on a 700C wheel just a little bit more aggressive, and just to show compared like I did with the ground control tires, you can see that they're actually pretty similar in size. Now, on the 19 millimeter rims, my Ramblers measured out to around 46 millimeters actually, so they're a little bit larger than what was suggested. And the way that Rutland, or not Rutland, but the way that Teravail does their tires is they suggest this for an internal rim width of 23 millimeters. So since I'm going to be running these on a slightly narrower rim, it means that this tire is going to be a little narrower than expected, but because of how I run my tires, I run them at typically higher pressure than most people would, so I expect these tires to stretch out a little bit more than what would typically be run on a similar rim at lower pressures. So that's been the quick overview. Now let's see what these look like on my bike. Alright, here we are, and I finally got the tires fitted onto my bike, and I'm just getting out here right as it's starting to rain, so I'm gonna make this quick, but I just wanted to show off how the tires look. And as you can see, they look really nice, and you can just see with the clearance on the front, there's plenty of room there, and then on the back, which is the important part, you can see there's still plenty of room on that side. And if I can get the non-drive side, a good amount of clearance there. Now this is on the stock wheels, like I said, and there's a 19 millimeter internal width, and these end up measuring around 46 millimeters with, I think it was, I checked it at 44 psi, and this is when it was sitting for about a little bit over an hour after installing. So it might stretch out to 47 on these rims, but it might stay at 46. But all in all, I think these look really good on this bike and they fit really well. So I'm gonna give these tires a go. My plan is to maybe take them on a little bit of single track, but it's probably just going to be some light XC trails, but it's mostly just going to be me riding around the neighborhood and things like that. Basically everything that I've been doing with this bike already, but with tires that have a little bit better clearance and still give me good off-road grip. It still roll really well on the road. But that's been my quick little overview, mounting and installing of the tires. By the way, these tires installed on these rims very easily. I didn't even need to use my booster pump. I could just use a regular track pump and it worked really well. So that's the Teravail Rutland 700 by 47 durable in tan wool. So I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, leave a like down below, comment what you think about these tires, and as always, this is Chris, and I'll talk to you later.